we're back on this bubble, baby. Yeah, it's your boy James.
Jones, we back at it again.
Okay, you picked it up. That's clean. I like that. There you go. Hey. Now, last episode, we got off on a little bit of a tangent because we had to address certain other topics, particularly about pretty much disrespecting the slander that goes on towards the current generation, stuff like that. But we did get to address some cool things with the bubble going on. And we got to talk a little bit about Dame. We got to talk a little bit about TJ Warren and Kyle Lowry tearing everybody up. And we even talked about Phoenix and Grizzlies and stuff like that. We did not get to talk about 39, 19, and 14 from freaking LUKA Doncic. Huh? What do you say to that? What were your thoughts on that?
Let's see. What do I get off? The 39 points or the rebounding or the assists? What should we go with first? Because we already know that this man has basically been a professional since he's been a little kid.
Thank you. Okay. We've talked about this before. LUKA is a sophomore in the NBA. He is clearly a professional player. I do want to get into, before we really kind of get into his dominance, I feel like a lot of these Euro players have been getting a little bit more disrespect lately. I think people are taking them for granted as if those guys aren't more. I think that they're more developed at a young age. There's too many guys that come into a high school team or a college team in the NBA working purely off their raw talent. And some of them develop later. But you don't see that from the Euro guys. LUKA is clearly not as athletic as our top athletes here. But he's significantly more dominant than most of them anyways. So, real quick, I just wanted to give some appreciation to the Euro players because I feel like there's a lot of slander going on from, really, again, it's not really our generation, it's really the older guys. Because I've heard Charles Barkley recently talking a little bit crazy about some of the Euro players.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they should get some recognition and appreciation from everyone because they work just as hard as the players here in the U.S. At times, if not harder. It's just that they're working harder at different aspects compared to what the U.S. players are working at. U.S. players are working at the physical, the athleticism, trying to make sure that's all, solid.
Right.
And they're not focusing as much on maybe the jump shot or the ball handling or the basketball IQ. That's where the EuroLeague players comes in very strong because people will forget about Jokic. When he first came in, people really didn't think he was going to be anything because, he wasn't really the most
athletic,
in shape looking individual.
Yeah.
But yet, this guy is still being considered one of the best big man playmakers in all of the NBA. And he's still able to get you easily probably 23, 10, and probably 9 assists.
I think, again, I don't think talent-wise it's a comparison. We clearly have the more talented players here. I do 100% believe that the more skill-based players are for sure overseas. If you think about any of the stars that came over here, whether it be Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Dirk Nowitzki, the superstars that came over here, maybe Giannis is probably the first one that we've seen that's just purely athletic. I think Joel Embiid has great size, but he has great skill and doesn't know how to use it yet. I think that's just an IQ thing. Yeah. But the players that come from overseas typically do very well here. Another guy, Patty Mills, is absolutely amazing. I'm not going to forget about that 39 he gave Team USA when they were in Australia. What was it, 3-4 years ago? 3 years ago?
Maybe about 4 years ago.
Yeah, he gave us a 39 piece and went right back to San Antonio and was dominating the league still off the bench. So I think more credit needs to be given to the overseas players. But back to LUKA. I just had to give them a quick shout out real quick. But back to LUKA. Let's start with the 14 rebounds, right? Because we've talked about LUKA on here before as well. And we've made it very clear. LUKA knows how to use his athleticism. He doesn't have much of it, but he uses it wisely. Yet, he got 14 rebounds to go with that 39 points and 19 assists. I'll let you go first on that one, brother.
Well, you just got to appreciate this man's timing when it comes to rebounding. You know, he used proper technique. He knows how to get to the ball and put himself in the right situation to get rebounds. And for him to do that, to be in his, let's see, he's pretty much an old head now because he's his second year in the NBA.
Yeah.
So from that aspect, it's just all technique, and that's all skill that he probably has learned overseas of how to be a good rebounder without having to be this, you know, Ben Wallace, Dennis Rodman type player.
Exactly. And they are one-of-a-kind players. I wouldn't say Ben Wallace and Dennis Rodman were more athletic than a lot of guys. They just knew how to execute. Again, it's a different way of playing over there. Yeah, they're clearly going to be dunking. Those guys are 6 feet and up, too. There's going to be guys over there dunking and all that other type of stuff. But it's without question that they come here typically ready to play with a different mindset. Whereas, again, the first thing you'll see a lot of American players on different levels, instead of going right to the basket, working on your layups and stuff like that, you'll see a lot of guys just go right in the gym and jack from long three as if they can shoot. I mean, it's just a different way of playing. But I think it comes down to knowing how to play.
I can't stand those guys.
Oh, I love playing against them. It makes it so much easier. But because if you're gonna do that,
yeah, but when you got you on their team, it's like, all right, okay.
Oh, I'm not playing with you. No. We can square up right now. You take that shot in the game, Russell Westbrook, we gonna be throwing down. But no, I mean, dude just knows how to play. 39, 19, and 14, and you're a second-year player. And the reason I brought him up is because I saw this debate again, and of course, it was Kendrick Perkins talking some more nonsense. But what the question was basically, should LUKA even be in the conversation for most improved? Because he's in the MVP conversation. Or maybe he shouldn't be because he's in the MVP conversation, I think is what it was. Should he be in the most improved? I think he should be. I think it's the similar case to when Steph Curry got his unanimous MVP. He got significantly better. It should not just be an award given to a breakout player. It should be about literally who improved the most. What do you think about that?
Well, let's see if LUKA has any argument about being in the most improved player of the year award. Okay, last year he won Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. Did his point total improve from last year?
It did. It went up.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm looking at his numbers now.
Okay.
So he went up 8 points this year. He averaged 21 last year.
Keep going.
He averaged 21 last year. His steals remained the same. His assist also went up 3. So he went from 21.2 points to 29.1. He did, however, go up 1 turnover, but his steals and blocks remained the same. His assist also went up 3. His rebounding went from 7.8 to 9.5. His defensive rebounding went from 6.6 to 8.2. He's still getting the same amount of offensive rebounds. His free throw percentage went up 6%. He's also getting 4 more attempts from the line. 3 more attempts from the line. His field goal percentage went up 4%. His 2-point percentage, meaning mid-range, went up 7.5%. His 3-point percentage, he's taking, I'm sorry about this. He's only taking 0.5 more threes. No, he's actually taking 2 more threes, and this percentage stayed the same, which is about 32%. So his game did clearly improve. You went up 8 points, you got more assists, you went up in rebounds, and your free throw percentage increased as well. And you only went up not even a full turnover. And you're getting your ball handling a lot more.
Okay. So, basically because numbers don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
Points went up. Rebounding went up. Assists went up. Now, turnovers went up because he has the ball in his hands more.
And it only went up like a fraction of 1. It didn't even go up a full point.
Let's see. Did his team get better because of his improvements?
They have at least 15 more wins than they did last year.
So, from that standpoint, he should be in the most improved player of the year conversation.
Thanks.
So, I don't know what Kendrick Perkins is talking about, but he clearly probably does not have the information that he needs to back up his argument.
This is not the first time.
That's simple.
He has a history of speaking on these things, but it's not just him. There are other players. Again, I mentioned the Steph Curry situation where he went to unanimous MVP. I do not believe in punishing a player because of their previous success. Steph Curry averaged 20-something points the year he won MVP, yes. But he went to 30-something points. It was a 6-point differential. His 3-point percentage went up, as well as his attempts, which does not happen. No one shoots more and gets better or stays the same. Typically, you're going to experience a drop-off. His free throw percentage and attempts also went up. His 2-point percentage and attempts also went up. They also had the best record, second best record in regular season history. Or no, they broke the record, right? They went 73-9. I forgot about that. So how does a guy go from, okay, we got low 60s, we got about 60 wins. This previous year I got MVP, where I was averaging 25, 5, and 5. The next year, we get the world record, 73-9. My percentages go up in each category. My turnovers don't jump. The success of the team jumps. How could I possibly not get rewarded with most improved? I just think that it's a little bit nonsense that the award is not given to the players who deserve them. Case in point, most valuable player. It doesn't always go to the best player. I'm so sick of people talking about LeBron James deserves the MVP every year. You do not. If James Harden has a better year than you, if Russell Westbrook, Steph Curry, Paul George has a better year than you, then you cannot say that he deserves it every single year. I think it's disrespectful to the current players. It's disrespectful to other players in the past. Michael Jordan didn't get it every single year. Bill Russell did not get it every single year. We know that Shaq did not get it every single year, and he was the best player in the league. We know that Kobe didn't get it. I do not like the notion of not rewarding a player for what he put in the work for. I think it's wrong.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, the MVP for that year is someone who was the best player this year. It's not about, what they done in the past.
Exactly. So, with that being said, again, we discussed the MVP situation. I'm trying to think of if there was another award based on a team improving, the best team change, essentially, the best growth in a team, right? I don't know how to phrase it. But if you had to say, okay, this team took the most tremendous jump, or they experienced the most success and we were not expecting it, who would you give that award to? Because, to be honest with you, I'm looking at Toronto like, I did not expect you guys to be how you are. And they are completely shocking me. Them and Miami.
Yeah, it could be Toronto and Miami, but you will also have to throw in OKC as well.
Ooh, that is very true. Actually, I was one of the people that were saying OKC was going to be a good team this year. I did call that.
I would admit and say that I thought OKC probably would take a step back before they took a step forward. Like, I believe that they would improve, but I didn't think they was going to improve this quickly.
Remember, I told you about Shea Gilgeous. Told you the man was nice. Give me my props. Every year I call these things.
Yes, of course. Him, no problem. But it wasn't just him. It was also Gallinari also stepped up as well.
The same guys
Steven Adams actually made improvements. Like the whole squad as a unit became better when Chris Paul actually showed up.
It seems like we're having a problem getting you to simply admit that I was right on this one. Okay.
I just saying that you was right with Alexander. I didn't say that.
Yeah, one player, not the whole team. That's hurtful.
Yeah, you said one. Okay, all right. All right.
I already know when I get off of here, it's gonna be a problem. I'm ready. I'm used to the abuse. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to get into about maybe team success was Ben Simmons, right, in the Sixers. Ben Simmons is clearly done. Do you think Brett Brown should be able to keep his job, which you know how I feel about that, and we're going to talk about it a little bit here right now, because you know how I feel about Brett Brown. Do you think he should be safe via Ben Simmons' injury? And do you think Ben will move on from the Sixers? Because I think this is his contract year, is it not?
Yeah, I believe so. Brett Brown is not safe. Ben Simmons moves on.
Where do you think Ben will go?
Now, where would he go? It would have to be somewhere where he can get the Giannis Antetokounmpo treatment, so where he can actually grow. Because as you can see with Giannis and Ben Simmons, in a way, are the same player.
Yeah.
They're the same player. Giannis has been able to grow because they got shooters around him, and they let him grow into getting his jump shot.
Right.
Like, they let him develop. They let him actually get comfortable being the guy. With Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and this is not for them, it's like they both have qualities that can make them be the guy, but it would harm the other one's process of becoming the guy as well. That's the issue, because Joel Embiid is a low post first, then a pick and pop type big. Ben Simmons is a slashing playmaker.
Exactly.
Problem is that you can't have them on the court at the same time.
Not with this
Neither
team.
one or the other.
Not with this team. What was I saying before? If you put Joel at the 5 with Ben at the 4, closer to the rim to rebound, and then go out and gun it like you would like to, you basically would have a souped-up Draymond, right? And then I said, with Tobias at the 3, Jimmy at the 2, you would have had T.J. McConnell running the point. You would have had J.J. Redick and Mark Hill coming off the bench. That team would have been deep enough. They still would have had Chandler. They still would have had several other pieces. Was it Richardson? Josh Richardson, they have him too? Last year was their opportunity to make something happen. Brett Brown simply refusing to follow the instructions that I gave the year that Ben Simmons got in. You see, you can feel the rage, can't you?
I feel it. I feel it.
Good.
It's pretty
Because
hot.
I want to say something on here, but I'm trying to keep it clean as possible. But no, I think I agree. I don't know where he would go. I would like to see Devin Booker with a guy like that. It's a couple guys I would like to see Devin Booker with. I do think that maybe a trade of sorts could happen. I could see maybe Timberwolves finally just trying to make something happen and trying to get him as well to go deep. I don't know. They're in play. I could definitely see D'Angelo Russell with Philadelphia. I think that would be a good fit for him. But the Sixers, I think their opportunity is gone. When they had Jimmy Butler, that was their chance, and I think Joel Embiid will follow suit, but I think he will be going to Miami. Joel Embiid.
That they should have kept Jimmy Butler. They would have had a better window.
But I think when they lost J.J. Redick, that was also when they were screwed. Because J.J. Redick made it clear they weren't even... He was just like the last resort type of situation. But y'all needed him because you didn't have any shooting. And you lost the only shooter that you could have possibly gotten. So I just think, again, I was very much so one of those people that believed that they kind of overachieved by way of them not doing things the right way. And I think you're kind of experiencing the residual effects of not going through the process the correct way, no pun intended. But I think they're done. Right now, to me, the teams to look for out east, and I've said this the last couple of years, but it's really, right now, Brooklyn's banged up, but it has to be Brooklyn because they're still performing well. It has to be Toronto. It has to be Boston. It has to be the Bucks. And, of course, Miami. So the East is still a very good-looking situation. I just am not putting my money on the Sixers to figure it out. They can't be trusted off the strength of the coaching alone, and I still haven't. Joel Embiid didn't take that jump that I feel like he should have taken this year as well. I don't know what you feel about that, but that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Joel Embiid is a supreme talent, but the problem is that he's in a system where he's not able to show off his talent. Joel Embiid is a 2000s type player. What I mean by that is he is more, let me take my back to the basket, give me in the post, give it to me on the block, I'm going to work. That's what he likes to do first. The jump shots, like the mid-range, that's second. That's the second option. That's not his first thing. He likes to play down low. Could he shoot threes? Yes, he can. But he doesn't like to do it. Because he always throws up that pump fake from the top of the ski every time and drives to the basket for some reason that nobody has caught on yet.
Sorry.
So it just depends. Obviously, it depends on the system. So it means that the coach has to go.
That's very true. Now, what do you feel about Brooklyn? Because they're looking awfully impressive without a Kyrie and a Kevin Durant.
Brooklyn is competitive. I'm happy that they have Jamal Crawford there.
That's
because Jamal
annoying.
Crawford is a bona fide bucket.
That's annoying because it took literally about 2 years for him to get back in the league. When his last game, he put up 51. He's put up
51.
I'm sorry, I might be misstating this, but did he or did he not put up 50 points on every single team he's played on?
Yep.
And he's constantly gotten Teammate of the Year award. I just don't get how guys like that could not find a home. We talked about this before, but like Nate Robinson, David Lee, Joe Johnson had his stretch. Kenneth Fareed, the Manimal, had his stretch. I don't get Carmelo, obviously. I just don't get it.
That's the biggest one.
It doesn't make sense to me how a guy like that. I remember Brandon Jennings had that stretch as well. Guys who are guaranteed buckets. Guys who, in the right situation, and in every situation they've been in, have performed. They just don't get the right opportunity. I think it's wrong. I don't like it.
Simply put, obviously the reason why, to me, in my opinion, is that analytics have probably put their hand too much in what basketball should be. They'll go on like, okay, well, he's at this age and he probably should be declining sort of as a layer, so he probably need to get better. It's not always true. You don't know how a person's body will feel. The only person that knows is that person, and they will tell you. It's like, hey, I might need to go and hang it up, call it a career.
Mm-hmm.
Because they know how their body feels. You can't tell them how they feel. So they write them off earlier than they might be ready to leave. Like they try to write off a Carmelo Anthony. They was trying to write off a Jamal Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, he may be a good scorer, but he might have probably lost a couple of sets where he might not be able to keep up. That's the issue.
I think
they don't know that.
Part of the problem is, while analytics is it, I think it's people simply who are GMs don't know what the heck they're doing. I don't think it takes a rocket science to understand that Carmelo and Jamal Crawford and these different guys have value, and they can add value to any team out there. I think it's just a little bit ridiculous in this conversation in a sense, because these GMs don't understand how to build teams. I think it's become redundant. Yet these same people will complain when Golden State picks up DeMarcus Cousins, as if we didn't know that DeMarcus Cousins could add value to any single team out there. So it gets frustrating that common sense isn't so common. We as fans and listeners and people who participate in the game in some way, shape, or form, we get these things, but the people who get paid millions upon millions don't get how to put a team together. It doesn't take a rocket science to understand that Kevin Love and Drummond would not work when Kevin Love and what was the guy... He used to play, is really big guy, Russian, I think it was. He played with Kevin Love, pretty much played the exact same way, physical, not as good as Drummond.
Nikola
Pekovic. Why would you put Kevin Love with a guy like Drummond when you saw it didn't work in... You see what I'm saying? Where's the common sense in that? Like, you have Kevin Love doing the same exact thing, and I feel like it's sad that a good player like Kevin Love, who still has value, is I feel like if you put Kevin Love in Boston right now, that team goes to a different level. Doesn't clog up the lane, so Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum can go mid and in. Gordon Hayward can still go to the corner, things like that. I think it's just simple stuff that you could do to make the game easier for the talent that you've assembled. And you can get these guys for a bargain. Like, you can get them for a really good deal. It's a little bit stupid to me how most of the GMs don't get it. Like, you gave up J.J. Redick and then focused on him when he was literally your top 3 or 4 asset.
So, another thing that I just really thought about, like, just now, of why these guys sometimes have a hard time finding a home.
What is that?
Is the rumors that could have been spread about them that might not even be true. Here's an example. It was with the Houston Rockets with Carmelo Anthony. You already know about that situation.
Yeah.
Like, saying that Melo didn't even get any word about him being released or like any role change, etc. He said that he was open to do anything to help the team win.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a team player. They told him that he was going to be a third option. He put up third option numbers pretty efficiently, along with a team that's basically depleted.
Right.
But they're not doing good. So what do the organization need to do? They need to find a fall guy.
Mm-hmm.
A guy that they can say that, oh, we're not doing well because of this guy.
Right.
So they put the blame on Melo, put the blame on somebody else, saying, okay, he's an old player, he's doing this, he's not acting like himself, so we need to let him go. Even though that's not even true.
Exactly.
So the issue is that these organizations are not stable. They're not consistent, and at times they could be untrustworthy.
Very true. I think again, it's okay. We see this guy who's struggled in New York and stuff like that, and these stories have come out. Oh, simple. We have a scapegoat now, and it's almost like as the player, it's almost like it's no winning right now. Because, again, there's no level of accountability. We talked about this before, just the level of accountability is just missing across the board in this country. But, I mean, we're not going to get into all that. We're talking sports, but it's just, again, something goes wrong nowadays. The player will get released before they fire the coach. And it could be a legit coaching issue. Or it could be a player issue and it not be the coach. And it's just ridiculous, right? Like
it's not consistent. It's not stable.
Right, because if you look at, like you said, Melo's doing the exact same thing in Portland that he was doing last year. He was putting up third option numbers, but again, that team was depleted. They never mentioned the fact that Chris Paul, James Harden, and Eric Gordon were all hurt when he put up that 30-point game. And they didn't even acknowledge the fact that he put up that 30-point. It was a 28, something like that. He had a great game, but he's doing the same exact thing in Portland, and he's helping a team. But it's like the same thing with Jamal Crawford, Team of the Year award. Wouldn't you say that Brooklyn looks a little bit smoother, a little bit better, regardless if Kyrie is out or not? They look more connected. Jamal Crawford has had a history of going to different teams and not only boosting the confidence of the team. Oh, we have a guaranteed guy that can go out and get a bucket, but he actually helps the players perform better. Wouldn't you say that?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
It's just, again, I think you're right. It has to be the notion of certain players. Because again, I said before, David Lee was an all-star. There's no way he should have struggled finding a home. Nate Robinson had a history of getting buckets. He's never seemed to have an issue. Like, no player ever I've heard complain about Nate Robinson. So why is it that these guys are having a hard time? It has to be the organization. But when the players say something, it's an issue. If Zach LaVine were to get upset and say something about the Bulls not doing anything to really help him, because, yeah, you had some decent picks, but that was by way of you not having a good franchise. But it's you see what I'm saying? It's a little bit backwards. The players are still kind of treated wrong, and the organizations can kind of get away with whatever. It's almost like, again, the same thing with, we can trade you, whatever. But the moment that you choose to take your fate into your own hands, it's wrong. I don't like that.
These businesses should be about what's best for them, but when it comes to the players, they want the players to mind their business.
Exactly. When the players are the most valuable asset. And that made me think about the situation recently with Jimmy Butler having to change his jersey when it was about making a statement, was it not?
Yeah.
I thought that was whether they discussed it or not. And I feel like it was a little bit rushed to simply satisfy the TV deal. I didn't care for that. I remember there was supposed to be a statement made in coming back to this bubble. I have not seen it. What is the great statement here? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's turned into these are cool jerseys.
I didn't mean to cut you off. But to see Jimmy Butler have to actually get his jersey switched out in like the public eye,
yeah,
it's also like, okay, so y'all couldn't tell him like in the locker room, like, hey, We understand what you're trying to do, what you're standing for, but we really need you to put on this jersey with the name on it. That's fine. You can do that behind closed doors, but they did it out in public to try to prove a point as well.
Mm-hmm. Because it shouldn't have gotten to that point.
You have the right to speak, but we're going to make sure that you come correct with what you're speaking about.
And this is not the first issue that we've heard about with players not being satisfied with simply the message and stuff like that, which is exactly my point about, and we didn't get to discuss this on the podcast, but that was exactly my point about why I don't think the season should return. I'm glad that basketball is back, but I do feel like it's exactly what we said it would be. It is a distraction. Players are not being as active in the community as they were. If we're being honest about it, and I don't want to turn this into what it's, we know where this is going. I don't want this particular episode to be about that. But again, perception and the way we perceived it is exactly how it's turning out. Would you agree with that or not?
Yeah, in a way, yeah. Because now you're seeing like more and more sporting events and like sporting organizations trying so hard to get things back to normal. But when things was normal, things wasn't normal for everybody. It wasn't good for everyone.
Exactly.
Change is necessary. It's painful, but it is necessary.
Yeah. And with that being said, we're going to wrap up this episode with that. Again, thank you for coming on, brother. We'll do plenty more coming up soon. We have plenty of content coming for you guys. Sorry I hadn't been as active lately, but I can guarantee you more is on the way. Love you guys so much. Shout out to my brother Todd Jones. Follow him on Instagram. And
Instagram.
Boom. His stuff will be in the description.
Todd Jones 6.
Yep, that right there. Boom. Go ahead. Information will be in the description. Love you guys. Keep coming back. Show us support. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Peace.